Welcome to Digging In with the DLCs, where we intertwine pedagogy with digital learning. I'm Kimberly Howard, and in this episode, we'll explore how to leverage the power of social learning through engaging, meaningful, and relevant online discussions.
Gone are the days of the discussion boards where you reply to the prompt and then respond to two of your classmates. Let's energize the relationships between teachers, students, and the content with relevant dialogue. Whether you're using Canvas discussions as a remote learning tool or a supplement to your face-to-face instruction, we can leverage the power of social learning with engaging discussions.
There's a concept called the architecture of engagement. What it means is that students know how to interact, even in different kinds of physical classrooms, because the architecture shows them how to interact. So if you look at the two pictures on the screen, they are two very different environments. If I could pick three words to describe how I would expect the interactions to be, on the left, I would think very quiet, probably individual, and focused or research type. On the right, I think more social, I think interactive, and potentially like loud and a lot of conversation, right? So with careful planning, we can tell kids what type of engagement we want by the way we set up the physical space, and that can apply in our digital spaces as well. Whenever we are setting up our digital spaces, we do have to also consider, beyond the architecture of engagement, the relationships. Do we want to focus on a student to teacher, a student to student, or a student to content relationship? So if you take a look at this discussion, right, what kind of questions does this create for you? Right? It might be, oh, why is there so much text? Or what do I actually have to do to get the grade? Is my teacher going to read my response? Is this a minor or a major? These are the types of questions that our kids ask, but it's not necessarily about how do I want to respond to this, When I look at this, I think of when I was in college and I had to post my reply to the prompt, and then I had to respond to two classmates, and that's what I did to get my grade, and that was it. I never revisited that discussion board again. There's some very simple things we can do to make the discussion just at face value, just looking at a little bit more engaging. Ways we can do that is limiting the text and chunking the task. Remembering our task, purpose, and audience. Giving students choice. Do they all have to respond to the same question, or could we give them two or three and they choose which one they want to respond to? Providing feedback is so important. And then we can use multimedia, so GIFs, memes, images, and video. Sometimes those can be a standalone prompt to get a discussion going. And then the idea of quest dones versus quest runs, which I got this idea from the book Courageous Adventures. But is it a question that you answer it and it's over? Or is it a question that potentially will create more questions or create more discussions, a quest run, where they're going to keep it going? Another thing is that within Canvas, you can turn on likes for discussion posts. And with some training and with some teaching and coaching of kids, they can consider those likes like currency. So we want to make quality posts that our peers deem worthy of our like. We're not just giving out likes to anyone. No, we've got a limited number. So it might be that you only get one like. Like the one post that you feel like does the best job of answering this. Or if you had to take the grade of another post, which one would you want? Okay? This process allows students to engage in curating quality posts in the discussion forum. Another neat thing about this is there is a setting in Canvas where you can sort the discussion by likes. So at the end of the posting period, you may choose to sort that so that kids see the top quality post at the very top of the discussion thread instead of having to sift through all the responses that are available. Now, if you're in Frisco ISD, I've got a course set up in Canvas that you can enroll in to see some of these different discussions and even interact with them if you choose. You can get there by going to bit.ly/enroll ROD. And that is case sensitive. So the enroll is lowercase, and then ROD, Rejuvenating Online Discussions, is capitalized. I would love for you to get in there and explore and kind of interact with the discussion examples that I provided. So here are just a few discussion ideas that I'll show and share with you today. Icebreakers, check-ins, a wisdom wall, inquiry, a gallery walk, and digital power-ups. So the first type of discussion is an icebreaker. Hey, these are great, of course, for getting to know students. And they don't just have to be at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the semester. We can learn new things about our students and make those connections all throughout the year. So this is one I really like to try at the beginning of the year, to learn how to say students' names. They don't just have to type in a response. They can upload their own media. So encouraging kids to record a video or audio of how to pronounce their name can be really powerful. Again, icebreakers all year long, right? So something like, what superpower would you want? I mean, there's lots of icebreakers that you can find online, and easily put those into a discussion prompt to really promote that SEL connection for you and your students. Okay. Just checking in with students. How are you doing? And giving them different ways to respond to that. So instead of typing out how they're doing, give me a meme or a GIF that illustrates how you're feeling today. A wisdom wall. And so, our email inboxes are inundated right now with student questions and parent emails. A lot of times students ask questions that someone else in the classroom can answer, and that other students can benefit from knowing the answer. And so a wisdom wall is a place just for students to ask questions and to answer each other's questions in a discussion forum. For monitoring this would be one that I would probably turn on my subscription so that I know when someone posts here. But you can also give students the responsibility of responding to each other. So maybe there's one person or two people who man the wisdom wall for the week. And if they can't answer the question, they give the teacher a heads up that, hey, there's a question in there that you need to respond to. Inquiry. So one way to get kids really talking is potentially just letting them know that they don't always have to answer. Sometimes we can just ask questions, and this can be a way to get kids just accustomed to participating in a discussion board in the way that you want them to. So, what do you wonder? What do you notice? Those types of things where they don't actually have to give you an answer. A gallery walk. So sometimes we create gallery walks to give students information about a topic, get them up and moving around the room and that types of thing. And that is a great option here because you can post several different discussions to be stops along the gallery walk. But another option is also to have kids turn their work in a gallery walk so that you increase the audience, right? So not just the teacher seeing the students' work, but other students being able to see their work as well, and maybe giving them a prompt on how to respond to each other's work well. And digital power-ups. Now, this one is fairly new to me, but it's a strategy that you can use to get kids to really think about Bloom's taxonomy or whatever type of power-up that you want to use to get them in a higher order thinking discussion, right? So with this one, students respond to the prompt, but when they respond, they have to give it a hashtag for which level of Bloom's that they are responding with. So is it a remember, an understand, an analyze? Are they creating? Are they connecting? So this is a really cool option here. At the end of the day with these discussions, we want kids to be involved. And so that requires us as teachers to be involved as well. We can't just post a discussion question and then just let kids have it. Okay, we've got to model what that interaction looks like, just like we model behaviors in the classroom. So as teachers, I would encourage you to reply to questions and post. Make suggestions where you can. Ask questions to get them thinking and get them responding more and just engaging in that discussion. Don't be a ghost once the discussion gets posted. But remember, this is not the discussion post we want. And so the way that we can get around that, when you are creating with that rich content editor for your discussions, I would just highly encourage you not to just put text, but you can add hyperlinks, images. You can record video and audio and even encourage kids to respond with video and audio. You can add files, you can include things from your Google Drive and even YouTube videos. And some of those settings you may want to consider is, are you posting to everyone or just to a different section? Do you want threaded replies? Do they get to have to post before they can see responses? Do you want to grade it? And even though, you might not want to grade every discussion, what's really nice about this is if you make it graded, you can see a kid's responses in Speed Grader. So instead of having to sift through to see where did they interact, you see the kid's name and all of their interactions to the discussion post, which is really, really nice. And I would highly suggest if you decide to invest the time in coaching your kids on how to use likes, turning on that allowing like can be very powerful in the classroom. So I want to encourage you to reflect on your learning for today. How has your view of online discussions changed, right? How can you model engaging and meaningful discussions with your students? And what are some practical ways to enhance your discussions going forward? What are your next steps? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Digging In with the GLCs.